Welcome to Financial Investing Radio, where you'll learn the secrets for consistent, high-probability returns in the financial markets for additional income to change your life. Grant applies consistent, high-probability trading systems for the financial markets. He's only recently started sharing these tried and true market secrets. As a gift to listeners, Grant is offering his roadmap to high-probability financial control. Go to financialinvestingradio.com and download yours today. Now, here's your host and trading veteran, Grant Larson.
Hello, everybody. This is Grant. Thank you for joining. So, as you know, the news comes in many forms today. You know, there were a couple times when I was young, I delivered newspapers in the morning. During one point in my life, we lived in the Midwest, and there were many times of delivering papers, you know, in the snow and in cold mornings. In fact, one time it was 60 below. My dad was like, "Hey, I better take you in the car." I would have frozen like a popsicle. But there was one experience in particular that stands out. It was an early morning in the Rocky Mountain area on a Sunday morning. Back then, the Sunday morning papers were quite large. And there's of course, the comic section, the coupon section, the larger sports section, and there's other elements, right, that made those papers large. Well, my job was to get all the inserts into the already large paper and put a rubber band around them or put them into a plastic bag, right, depending on the weather. Anyway, from there, I would put the papers into a bag on my bike. And off I went. Well, as a delivery boy, of course, my goal was to get the paper into a location that would reduce the likelihood that it was going to get run over by the car in the driveway or some other bad thing happened to it. Like people didn't want to pay me if it got ruined. But I also had to avoid landing it in the flower bed and such. Well, on this particular Sunday morning, the paper was unusually larger than normal. And this required me to get off my bike a lot and run the paper up to the porch. Well, I was in a hurry because I was later than normal because I had to get on and off the bike a lot. Now, I need to tell you about stained glass panes, right? You know, you got a front door, right? You have a front door in a house, and you've got that glass right next to the door that goes vertical with the door, right? And it's maybe a foot or so wide, maybe 2 feet wide in some cases, and it's a stained glass. Anyway, so in this particular case, this home had one of those. And as I ran up to the front door and threw the paper, I was going fast enough, and the paper was large enough, and my aim was bad enough that the paper went right through the window on an early Sunday morning. Made a big crash, big loud noise. Yeah, I was looking through the hole of the window into the home as the homeowner came walking down the stairs in his robe. Not a good experience. It can be painful to get news, right? I proved it in that case, right? It was painful for that homeowner to get the news. Well, today, Mr. Zuckerberg, Facebook CEO, testified before a congressional committee. And what did the Facebook stock do? Well, it rose over 4%. So you ask yourself, do you trade the news? Do you invest based on news? So I'm asking you, what do you do, right? What is it about his comments that caused the price to rise so much? Or did his comments have any impact on the price? So the question is, how do you make your investing or trading decisions, right? Is it based on fundamentals, or are you looking at technical analysis, or is it a combination of both? Anyway, I try to avoid news-based decision making, right? When it comes to making an investing or trading decision, I certainly use technical analysis as a basis, but I also consider other factors as well. But trading on the news can be a risky approach. At least that's been my experience. However, I've seen some groups really try to leverage that approach a lot. They look for a high volatility situation and they try to leverage that. During those periods of time, I find that some of the rules that have worked for me in trading become less meaningful. So, from my experience, I find that at the most, the news is one element of input to decision making, but I caution you to not rely on that as the basis for your decision making. Now, one thing's certain, my job as a newspaper delivery boy did not last long after I delivered the news through the front pane glass that morning. Hey, thanks for joining, and until next time, watch out for flying newspapers.
Thank you for joining Grant on Financial Investing Radio. Remember to subscribe and leave feedback. Don't forget to download your free roadmap to high probability financial control before you make an investment decision. Visit financialinvestingradio.com now.